Ahoy! The leaves were dry, it was hot, and Joaquin, naked, sat proudly in his rocking chair. He carved it himself in yesteryear, during a burst of jovial creativity, using refined imported mahogany. There weren't trees all around. With a narrow backrest and a soft cushion of ostrich feathers, with 2 levers for each armrest, and a seat of eel skin and robust straw, which hurts his acne-scarred buttocks. It was adjustable to 3 levels, which matched 3 heights for each one of 3 supports, and a small sensitive clockwise twist raised or lowered it, as the day's mood demanded. Joaquin, old but passionate, chose his setting to match his haughtiness, and today, like all the days that the sun came up from the east, it started at the mere top. It stood crooked, but it was a king's throne. Ahoy! 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 Thundered again his buccaneer's claim. A door opened. A little creature entered the room, hardly 7 years old, and went to stand beside the old poor Joaquin. The room contained the rocking chair previously described, the old man sitting on it already mentioned, and an unmade bed that projected an indescribable pitifulness. A blanket of leaves arriving from other times covered all the surface of the floor. There weren't any windows. The odor of sulfur and fruits always served as a reminder that no one escapes the stalk of the incoming death.
"Are you hungry?"
she asked, her voice docile and sweet, soft, like a murmured secret. Ahoy!
"Are you telling me or asking me?"
Ahoy! He yelled.
"It is okay.
She smiled.
I'll bring it now."
And while the girl still gazed, with eyes half open, that torch of a smile persists on those lips. One of those smiles that emanate warmth and glow. It enhances all the other aspects of her little face, her pearl-like cheeks, her mouse-like nose, and her eagle-like forehead. All of these traits lit up by the gentle happiness of that smile. Opposed only by the forces of the littlest eyebrows, blurred like faded laughter. And Joaquin had guessed something from that obscure dialect which they spoke, because he returned her a smile, much broader, singular, and crescent, but at the same time, sincere. Meanwhile, the girl understood the message and finished hers, turning the other way around, going directly towards the exit to continue her duty. But after 2 steps, something made her stop on her way, and back up, and start searching under her blouse for a small notebook, although large for her hand, and lay it on Joaquin's lap. And as a mirrored act, she uttered the same smile, once more glimmering all of the room, but this time, again, turning around, and finally, disappearing through the doorway. "Ahoy," said the old man, with a lost glance, while opening the notebook. A tired voice, as clear and tacit as a voice could be, whispered from behind him. "Unfortunate is the one who remembers what lies written herein." Suddenly, at the minimal separation of the notebook's pages, a burst of liquid winds drowned everything visible to Joaquin. Aqueous fumes, transparent, made him swim between their densities, like a gravity-less body, twisting and turning on its own axis, such an unhinged blender, bumping on each of the room's curvatures, bumping with the bed, the sheets, with the rocking chair's backrest, and with the bed once again. That fluid, intrepid, entered through his nose, eyes, ears, and any other described anatomical bore. Gelatinous, inappetent. Joaquin couldn't scream, nor did he try to. It was all a chaotic mess of silences. Meanwhile, in their own way, the dry leaves, not looking so much dead anymore, were flying and dancing with the cadence of the fluids, joyfully, respectfully. And in the same way as the frenetic whirls had come to life, they ceased. A peace, almost immutable, settled all at once. Nothing was spinning around anymore. Joaquin, who had his eyes closed, opened them up with the cautious slowness of fear. A blinding shaft of light hit him, and he now sat alone in the middle of a beach.
Second part.
She told me, I am cool. And I would tell her, bah, I don't feel anything at all. So she'd shoot back, are you stupid? And hug me. The routine was always the same. The glittering sand highlighted her white bare feet as we walked, and later, when we lay down there. The months could pass by without cadence under that insatiable sun, and her pale skin would remain as pale as the foam of a wave, and there would be no problem. We were 26, and everything would be just fine. She kept talking about a rainbow, or something like that. I definitely heard the word rainbow, but who knew? Back then, on those days, I hardly paid any attention. I guessed I heard her without really listening. She went on about other stuff too, whatever it was, but yesterday, oh, yesterday. It was about that rainbow, and she kept talking and talking to me while she did not let go of me, trapping me in her arms. She would mention it as if it were of the most absolute importance, the most important thing in her whole damn week, in her whole month. And we'd sit, afterwards, in that damned burning sand. She didn't seem to mind, so I felt I shouldn't either, but it burned, my ass was on fire, although I had to admit, I'd always been sensitive down there. Everything was burning in that place, my shoulders, my chest, my temples were burning, and my hair, my lips, my skin, my guts, all of it, burning. She wouldn't shut up for a minute. She kept talking to me about how, blue is the best color, none of the others compare. So I would say to her, yes, yes. But what about green? On the one hand, I felt kind of ridiculous talking about these things, like a child, innocent. The green is much better, look over there. And I would point to the palm trees and the bushes growing in that small desert. At most I'll give you yellow, see the sand between your toes, but green? Really? Green? And I would say nothing, though I kept thinking of green, and she would guess me, and laugh at me, laugh at my quiet way of being, laughed, chattered, kissed me, and God, I kissed her back. Oh, I would really kiss her. Though, in the middle of the kiss, she would say, blue, blue, it's blue, and she wouldn't let me kiss her anymore. I would laugh. Yes, yes. I laughed. It was all so long ago. Sometimes, you know, she could drive me out of my mind. Then it happened. Without dulling the laughter in her eyes, she began to cry with her mouth. I watched her face crinkle, how her clammy freckles and rapacious forehead wrinkled. Though her eyes were still rainbows, now filled, for some reason, with grays, with falling rains. And I didn't know what to say to stop them, or why they were doing it, so I said timidly, okay. I'll let you have the blue. And she whispered, I think I want a girl. I want us to have a girl, Joaquin. And everything, from that moment on, was blue.